Please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
What is up, Nickel City Mafia? Welcome to another edition of Sunday Night Bills Talk, where we have 50-cent wings, dollar drinks, and Loganberry on tap. We're going to need a lot of drinks, so order up now. We're going to get into it. As you see, we got the whole gang here. This was just a heartbreaking loss, but I want to say something before I throw it to the guys. And I had to write this down because it's important. So let me get into just a couple paragraphs. Just bear with me, and we'll get into it. So I've told the story about how when you're born in Buffalo, and I was born at Mercy Hospital on Abbott Road in Buffalo, they wrap you in a Bills blanket, put you in a carrier, and they put you in a room where there are Bills games on replay. Over the years, birthdays, Christmas come and go, and you are given these cute Bills Sabres clothing to wear. You don't know, but they dress you up. By the time you're 4, you don't know how, but you are asking your parents what time the game is and what snacks we picking up for the game. You are a Bills fan, and there's no questioning why. Around the age of 10, your parents sit you down for a talk, and it's not the talk you're expecting to have at that age. They tell you there is something we need to tell you when it comes to being a Buffalo Bills fan. They tell you this team will break your heart more times than not, but as a Bills fan, as Buffalonians, you need to persevere no matter what and never stop believing in this team, because the day we finally raise the Lombardi Trophy will be the most special day in your life. This is one of those heartbreaking days, and we're going to get into it, but I wanted to say that because it's so important. So Jake, joining me is Jake Podger. Jake, I haven't seen you in a while. Been missing you, buddy. My co-host finally back. I know you were busy. How you doing, buddy?
I wish we were coming in on a way better note, but I loved how you put that, Mike. It was beautiful. It was poetic, and it's so true. Everything you say is true. This team will break your heart more times than not, but for whatever reason, we find ourselves still talking about them, still thinking about them, and ready for Thursday. Like, we can't wait for Thursday to come. We were just talking about it before the show started. And, I think we know that this team is way more talented than what it appears, and that's the most frustrating part. And, I think we got to give a little tough love every once in a while, and this is probably going to be one of those shows. But I'm ready to get into it. We got the boys here with us. Brett's got his shades on. He's coming in real hot with those. I think he doesn't want to show any type of poker face or anything like that. So, yeah. Otherwise, everything's good. Life is good otherwise.
All right. Well, good to have you back on, buddy. It's been a week since we kind of talked. So glad to see you back. Again, I agree with you. Wish it was on better circumstances. Also joining us from the Red, White, and Bills, Mr. Sean Kula. Sean, good to have you, my friend. How you doing? I know how you're doing. I know it's rough. So thank you for joining us tonight after this tough game. Appreciate you. We'll get into all the details. Brett, same thing. I only asked Jake because I haven't talked to him for like a week, but I talked to you guys on a regular basis this week, including today, both of you on the phone. And Brett, thank you for joining us. I know you both had your shows. I know it's late there. So thank you for being a part of this show tonight. So let's get into it, and we're gonna have the chat also dictate what we talk about. But to me, this was a complete team failure for the first time, complete team. But Jake, I took a survey earlier in the week, and they said, how we always do surveys in Nickel City Mafia. What can we improve? They say get the guy who looks like Josh Allen talking a lot, and get him talking often. Wish just like we say the Bills get it going often, which they didn't in the last 3 weeks, but you, my friend, can do that. So let me throw it to you, Jake. Where do you want to start, man? Floor is yours.
Are you alluding this situation to how the Bills finally used Dalton Kincaid today? Because that was probably the most beautiful takeaway from the game that I have, is the fact that we finally got this young rookie involved. He's so sure-handed. He caught everything that we threw to him. And I'll tell you what, you give him a year or two in the weight room, training with an NFL staff, he's probably breaking that tackle and getting a first down on third down. I know he was just a little bit short on that, but he did a hell of a job today. That was definitely one of the bright spots. So definitely want to highlight that. I always like to start with the positives. Of course, Josh Allen still did Josh Allen-like things, but there were a lot of moments too where You know, it was like a missed throw here, a missed throw there, stuff that we're not really accustomed to seeing, stuff that we haven't really seen in a while. And, you know, I think people are so fast to say, hey, fire Ken Dorsey, you know, get rid of the entire coaching staff, this, that, and other. They do have a piece. There's a big piece for sure. But at the end of the day, the Bills players need to execute. That includes JA-17. Dawson Knox, another tough drop today. You hate seeing that. We pay this guy a lot of money, and I'd be totally fine with using more Kincaid than Knox in the future here moving forward. I still think we got to sprinkle him in. But, man, it's right now things are tough. And right now at 4-3, Mike, you said to come back to you if after 10 games we weren't 7-3. So we better win out is basically what
exactly
saying. Yeah. So, man, I don't know. You know, I think one of the biggest things is work in the middle of the field. We did a little bit of that today, and it really did pan out well. It was successful when we did it. It was good to see Khalil Shakir get some involvement as well. But as far as the number 2 receiver goes, I mean, Gabe Davis did a whole hell of a lot of blocking, but only caught one pass for 6 yards. I don't know what that's all about. First few weeks, he was on fire. He was catching touchdown passes at least, you know, and today it was just he was invisible. And I don't know if they were purposely taking him away or however it was schemed. But, you know, I think when you really look at it, the uninvolvement from the receiver position is also concerning, you know. And I get like Khalil Shakir caught 4 passes today, which is great. You love seeing stuff like that. But from a true number 2 receiver, you expect the guy to have more than one catch. This is his second like poor outing. 3 catches for 21 yards last week, 1 catch for 6 yards this week. So that is definitely not a direction I want to be going in. I think Steph Diggs, you know, he still did Steph Diggs-like things. I mean, that touchdown catch, 25-yarder, that was beautiful. The only guy that really seems to be playing with some serious fire out there at all times, you know, he's by far our most consistent piece on this offense. And shoot, at the end of the game, Josh did make a hell of a throw, and that would have been an insane catch by Steph if he does make that. Unfortunately, the offense, again, though, just too little too late, and you can't play just 6 minutes of good offensive football. That's what it comes down to. It comes down to execution. Sure, the play calling could be a little bit better at times, but I think a lot of people are just riding this high of saying, hey, fire Ken Dorsey. It's not all Ken Dorsey here. Ken Dorsey isn't the one out there dropping passes and not executing. They got to execute, plain and simple.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I was on the Red, White, and Ruthless with Sean last night, and we talked about who has to step up. And I said, Gabe, Kincaid, and it's not that Kincaid has been doing anything wrong. He didn't even play last week, but we wanted to see those guys step up in that number 2 role. And Cook. And guess what? Cook showed up. Cook was impressive today. Yeah. Kincaid showed up. And it's like, man, every time he made a play, they take him off the field. I'm like, why is this man not staying on the field? And then, of course, Gabe Davis goes invisible. Now, I guess, you know, I didn't hit the trifecta, but 2 out of 3 ain't bad. I think there's a song about that. So let's go through the comments real quick, and then I'm going to throw it to you, Sean, because I know you're going to have a few things to say about folks saying, fire Dorsey, cut Cam. I don't know why you're always on my boy Cam
didn't
Lewis.
Even do anything today.
Cam Lewis, not even in this game today. So Trek Reviewer, no, stay away with that.
Hey, you want to talk about consistency? Trek Reviewer with the Cam Lewis takes every week, baby. Talking about cutting Cam Lewis or that guy should never play it down. I do respect it to a certain extent.
Yeah, remember, folks, this is just as much for you as it is for us. We need some therapy. We need to get some things off our chest. So we're going to talk about everything you want to talk about tonight. The boys are ready to go as late as you want to. At least I am. Yeah. All right. So let's see. Alpha Rob, thank you for joining us, Alpha Rob. Time to shake up the offense. Les Knox and Davis, they doing nothing for you. More Kincaid, Shakir, Sherfield, and Hardy. Yep, I was super happy to see Shakir get more involved, and Kincaid, of course, we've been calling for him. And then we got an update. Hopefully that's still the case. Eagles 10-3. We are Eagles fans tonight. And then what else we got going on? Defense was a joke, making Jones look like an MVP in the last drive. Absolutely. Like I said, a complete team failure today. We'll talk about that more. And let's see here. That's just an update from Go Bills Podcast. Thank you.
That's the current update.
James Collins, trade for Hunter Renfrow immediately. We do have the trade deadline coming up, October 31st. We kind of talked about that last night. You know, we're like probably not going to make a move, but after today, I don't know. And we'll talk about that as well. What's this here? I be trolling, consistent, not consistent. I don't know,
What's up,
hashtag
Maddie?
consistent. Trade Gabe Davis, ASAP. I'm done with him. Track reviewer Dalton Kincaid has 17 of 19, has caught. Yes, he's got the hands. He's got the hands. Josh Allen overthrew him today. Would have had another nice play. And I know Sean's going to talk about this. Josh Allen overthrew our boy Diggs twice. So, like you said, Jake, it's not all on Dorsey. Everybody calling for Dorsey. A lot of it is not. Josh has got to take some of that share and the rest of the team as well.
There were several plays today. I mean, even the one throw to Dawson Knox that was a little off too. I mean, or maybe it was Dalton. It was one of the two.
It was Kincaid.
I thought there were some really good design plays. I thought too, and it just didn't hit him. It's frustrating.
Yeah, I don't know, Big Al. I don't know if it's Dorsey's play calling with Gabe or Gabe himself. I mean, obviously we were able to get the other guys that we talked about open. We'll get into that more. McDermott liked to baby guys instead of letting them play football. Interesting take there. I don't necessarily agree, Alpha Rob. You got to give me a little more information because I'm not seeing that. So let me know what you're thinking a little bit more, Alpha Rob. And for tonight's show, hey, if anyone wants to join us, I will drop you the link and you can join us and share your thoughts, because this is all about, getting things off our chests, some therapy. And I'd be glad to have any of you out there in the channel today join us if you want to say a few words. Let's see here. Eagles have the ball. Okay, good. Timmy Corks, I'd rather the team trade for a nose tackle. They lost their only true one tech in Daquan Jones. Besides Oliver, the rest of the D. Yeah, man, that D line.
Well put, Timmy.
Looked like trash today. So without Ed Oliver, we were exposed. Lots of people out there. Taron Johnson's horrible. Whoa. Slow down with that one. Yes, he had some penalties, but he made some good plays. That guy's
he had a tough day today.
He did. But he made some physical plays as well. So I love little Taron. Yeah. But yes, bad day. Horrible. I'll give you that. Horrible day today. Comedian also said Taron Johnson blew. If he can't jump, that's crazy.
Well, here's the thing. It's already a mismatch at the line of scrimmage. You got a 5'10" corner going up against a 6'6" tight end. You don't even jam him at the line. I mean, that's where you play Saran Neal. You put him on the line, just rough him up a little bit, be physical. That, to me, that's more of a coaching thing, honestly. You knew that matchup wasn't going to be won by him.
Or even Taylor Rapp.
Yeah, someone. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have, as far as our linebackers, our corners, Carrier's pretty tall, but the rest of them aren't that tall. I think Benford is 6 foot, isn't he? I think Benford's 6 feet. But yeah, those huge tight ends. What's Gesicki, like 6'6" or something like that?
6'6".
And Darren Waller was last week. I mean, they are guys I would throw to all the time. All right, and then let's see here. We got the truck reviewer coming in. They're saying some stuff about Gabe Davis. I would like the Bills to draft wide receiver from Florida State. Oh wow, 6'7".
Incredible.
Let's talk about Raven for Life, 716. I'm a Raven fan, live in Buffalo my whole life. I follow the Bills. It's not y'all offensive coordinator. It's Allen. He has wide open wide receivers. He just don't see them, and he overthrows them. Very good point, Raven. And we've been talking about that, and I think you're going to hear some of that from the next guy I'm going to go to here. So we appreciate you. We're going to go back to the show for a little bit, but we're going to talk about everything you guys are putting in the chat. We greatly appreciate you joining us. And this is a show for you as much as it is for us. And again, like I said, you want to join us? You want to get on? You don't have to show yourself. You can shut your camera off. I'll drop you a link and we'll have some fun with you. All right. Jake, let me throw it over to Mr. Sean Kula. Sean, I know you're going to have a lot to say, what you're hearing, and go ahead, sir. Floor is yours.
Well, first, I want to pose a question to the people that want to fire Ken Dorsey. Who do you want to bring in, and why? And I say why because week after week, I spend hours watching this film. I watch this team play, and every week it's the same thing. They lack execution, they lack detail, and they can't do the basic stuff. Like today, first play of the game. Everybody clamors for let's run plays out under center. We're so great under center. Look at the stats. The stats don't lie. We're top of the league at every stat under center. First pick of the game, interception. It was an interception, not because the play design was bad. The play design was perfect. It was a high-low, basic play. Again, great play design, but basic. And Josh, all he had to do was either look off the safety or corner for one guy and go to the next one, or vice versa. But Allen looked at Knox the entire time, and then the safety or corner was just watching Josh the whole entire time. He said, oh, he's definitely not going into the flat route. I'm just going to backpedal. Boom, interception. That's not a tone-setting play. That's not the play calling's fault. The play design was to get one of those guys open, and Josh didn't. Lining up, incorrectly on the offensive line. That's not Dorsey's fault. That's their fault for poor execution. Is it Dorsey's fault that Latavius Murray knocked over a cornerback when he was supposed to rub him? No, that's Murray's fault. Like, everybody wants to just blame the coordinator because they don't want to blame Josh. They don't want to blame the players that they love. Are you guys Bills fans or Josh Allen fans? Like, that's what it really comes down to. I'm a Buffalo Bills fan. I love Josh Allen more than anybody, more than the next guy. But above all else, I'm going to be a Bills fan when Allen's not playing no more. I'm going to be a Bills fan when none of these guys are playing football no more. Their kids are going to be playing football. I'm going to still like the Bills. So when it comes down to it, I'm not going to just protect Josh no more. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of just sugarcoating stuff and pretending like I don't see the stuff that's out there. And then I talked with Mike about this on the Ruthless show. Is it the fact that we're not creative at all, or is it the fact that we're creative, but we can't execute the plays? And then Gabe Davis answered that question for us. He said, we need to simplify the offense. The simple thing is, what he's telling us is they cannot execute the basic offense that Ken Dorsey's trying to run. Whether it's creative or not, it seems like to me like it's so creative that they can't figure it out. And that's the issue. It's not because Ken Dorsey doesn't want to be creative or he can't be. It's because they can't execute the play. It may be simple to us. It may look like it's basic to us because we're not doing the ring around the rosy Kansas City play. But that doesn't mean it's creative. Creative is like the first play of the game where someone was supposed to be open. Somebody's designed to be open. Somebody's designed to be open. And what does Josh do? He doesn't look through his progressions. Is that Dorsey's fault? No. Dorsey doesn't say, hey, Josh, throw an interception this first play. I think it'd be great for your entertainment. He doesn't say, hey, Osiris Torrance, on a quick, trying to run a quick hurry-up offense, line up off sides as an offensive lineman. I never heard that in my life, 20 years of football.
Yeah, it's insane.
Like,
a lot of firsts
never
with
heard
this
that
team,
before.
man.
So, like,
Yeah.
I understand. I used to be like that too. I used to blame Daboll for everything because I didn't want Josh to get criticism. But then I posed this in the Ruthless show too. What's besides Diggs? What's the one constant between Dorsey and Daboll? Josh Allen. And we said the same stuff about Daboll. I wanted Daboll gone. Everybody wanted Daboll gone. And then he left. We performed a little bit better, but now everybody wants Dorsey gone. Everybody wanted to blame the O-line. You can't blame the O-line no more. So it's just Dorsey now. So when are we going to stop and understand that Josh makes $300 million plus some because he makes commercials? He's on Madden. He does Gillette commercials. He does DirecTV commercials. He does Tostitos commercials. And we're scared to say Josh misses wide open receivers. Josh doesn't go through progressions. Josh overthrows your best receiver on your team to win a game. Josh almost lost that last game, the Giants game. He made that Quentin Morris pass. That was elite, right? But when it came down to one more play, throw a wide open pass to Dawson Knox when nobody's near him and the game is over. What did he do? He missed. Turned the ball over. Then the Giants almost scored and won the game. That's what people don't under. They want to bring up Josh won the game last week. He almost lost the game too. And it's just, I just don't know what to say anymore to the people that keep saying they want to fire Ken Dorsey. I just don't understand. Joe Brady's not going to do much. Why isn't Joe Brady a coordinator somewhere else right now? Why isn't Shula a coordinator anymore? Because they stink. That's why they're not. They don't want. Nobody wants them. Nobody wants them. And you could fire Dorsey. Go ahead. Fire Dorsey. It's going to be the same stuff because it's going to be the same quarterback. If Josh looks through progressions like he did today, he looked at Kincaid a little bit because Diggs was getting taken away, and he gets the ball, and everybody's like, wow, we're getting Kincaid involved in the offense. Kincaid was always involved, but Josh never looked his way. Go back and watch if you don't have NFL Plus, watch my film study, watch anybody's film study that watches the whole thing. These people are open. Josh doesn't, you can look his head. Hike, boom. He doesn't left to right, right to left. He doesn't do that stuff. So I'm tired. I'm really tired of it. I don't want to keep rambling about it. I've been rambling on it for hours, I feel like. But I challenge you. Give me a valid reason why you don't think Dorsey should be calling plays and why it's mostly his fault. And I'll counter that with reasons why it's least his fault over anything. You got to be able to execute the play. You make $300 million. Your tight end makes $14 million. Your offensive line is much better. You can run the ball now. And to me, it's just, I just don't get it. And comedian Mo Brown said he doesn't have a line, and it's incorrect. I'm going to disagree 100%. The offensive line is fantastic. Yeah, they may seem like they did bad today, but again, I'm going to encourage you, watch the film, because last week it was the same stuff. Everybody said Josh was pressured the whole game. He didn't have no time to do nothing. When I went back and watched every single play, and these guys watched it too, they saw my breakdown, and I think only 1 or 2 pass plays out of 30, the offensive line lost the rep. Got to watch the film. You can blame the line if you want. You can blame the coach if you want. But Josh isn't doing it. You get $300 million, right? Jake mentioned he showed up for 6 minutes. That's just being generous. There's 60 minutes in a football game. So why are you waiting till 6 minutes left in the game to show up?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you bring up a lot of valid points, Sean. I mean, Josh Allen is definitely someone to take part of that blame. Dorsey, this whole thing about Dorsey's at blame. You mentioned all the reasons why he's not at blame, especially for today. And in the past, you do a lot of film breakdowns and you bring up a lot of great points. And the O-line did look rough today, but you mentioned some of those things that happened. An uncharacteristic day for the whole team, in my opinion. Let me go to Brett with Mr. The cool sunglasses over there. You've heard what Jake has to say. You heard what Sean has to say. Give us your take, my friend.
I'm going to take the glasses off, guys, and look you guys in the eye, talk to you seriously, and just say this. I mean, the Bills are like a bad relationship, okay? I've been in bad relationships. I know that everybody on the panel probably has. It's a toxic relationship that we're going through. It's a long season, guys, okay? Understand this. There's going to be ups and downs. It's like the ocean, okay? There's always going to be the next wave. We got to focus on the next game, get better. I know it's the metaphor for what everybody's telling you, and we just need to focus on the next game, get better, learn to just understand that there's going to be games that we're going to lose, and we're going to get through them. And we have a long season to go. We got to play the Eagles. We got to play the Dolphins, the Jets, all these other teams. We can still find a way to do it. It's a long season, but you know what? I saw a lot of good things. I saw some bad things, but this team is tight together, and they will find a way to win. And I'm going to keep it at that. And just give you guys a quick score update on the game. Just tell you Eagles are up 17-3 on the Miami. So that's a great sign. Dolphins might get a loss too. So division's still in reach. Let's not freak out. Let's just find a way to get better.
Yeah, good points, Brett. I'm glad you're kind of bringing it back a little bit here.
I'm trying, brother. Listen, you know me. I am the ultimate optimist, but this was a gut punch today. It was certainly a gut punch. I think the most concerning part is just not showing up for the first 3.5 quarters. I mean, is this going to be a constant thing? And I think some of that you can credit some of that to maybe coaching. The players still have to show up, of course, but like, what is being done? Why are these guys coming out so flat every game too? So I think there is some validity to saying or putting a question on the entire coaching staff. Really, I mean, there is a reason why we're flat for these first 3.5 quarters, and then it's like, oh, we got a gun to our head. We better get rolling, guys. And it's like 2 minutes, and the Bills are great, and they score points and go down and 75 yards within 10 plays, 2 minutes, boom, or 4 plays, whatever. It's like the tale of two teams, and I've never seen a team beat itself so many times. I think it's just, again, like I said at the beginning of the show, it's so frustrating because we're so talented, and I think 4-3 we're just not satisfied with, and we lost games to teams that we should have beaten, and we played down to their level. Now, following that recipe, because this was the easy part of our schedule, now we got the Buccaneers Thursday, which I'm not going to say they're a cake. No team is a cakewalk. But after that, you got the Bengals, and then eventually you'll have the Chiefs, the Eagles, and the Chargers, the Cowboys. So there's a lot of teams on the schedule they're going to be in the playoffs this year, and the Bills need to come up. They got to start like an airplane, man. Start picking up and getting a little bit better each week. I don't know what it is. I don't know if you just have to reset everything, but I'm certainly concerned at least. Still optimistic at the end of the day, but I'm very concerned.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely concerning, Jake. I totally agree. Brett, I hear what you're saying. I mean, the AFC's tough, and yet you can still control your destiny by winning your division. And now this division, I mean, we can be in third place. The Jets win their next week, which I think, forget who they're playing, but it's a beatable team for them. And we're all of a sudden in third place. So this AFC East is going to be a battle to the end. And of course, we said early in the year that coming down to the last game of the year we play is against the Dolphins. That could be for the division. But if things keep going the way they're going right now, not going to be the case. So I understand what you're all saying here. This has been super frustrating. Let me get back to the channel just a little bit because, like I said, this show's for them as well as much as for us. Let's see here. I'm not going to question Josh's IQ in this particular discussion, but I see what you're saying, comedian Mo Brown. No one ever said Josh was a genius. Give him the most simple plays ever, then because he's losing me money. Is that because you're betting on him or something? Betting on the games? I don't know.
We already do the simple plays, and they can't do it. That's what David said.
Yeah, this game was unacceptable. The Pats did whatever they wanted. Yeah, it was.
Yep.
I mean, karma caught up to us. We should have lost last week's game.
Yeah.
Karma said, "I'm not going to let you."
You can't do it a few weeks in a row.
Yeah, I'm not going to let you do it 2 weeks in a row. And although it looked like it for a brief, I don't know, couple minutes that we might do it again. But you keep playing like this, you're not going to escape every time. And it caught up to us, bit us in the butt this week. So let's see here what else we got. Giving up 29 to the Pats. Look, let me throw it to you, Jake. There were a lot of firsts. I kept hearing the broadcasters say, this is the first. This is the first time to score 20 points. This is the first time they did this, or they had a lead, or blah, blah, blah. I mean, there were a lot of firsts, and I just don't get it. So let me throw it to you. Talk about a lot of those first for the Patriots.
It always seems like the Bills are on the receiving end of stuff like that for whatever reason throughout our entire history. It's like, and Bill Belichick, of course, gets his 300th career win against the Bills too. So just to add insult to injury, a guy that's beat us up for the last 20 years prior to this, it's like, it's just so many things, just rubbing salt in the wound, a lot of firsts. Yeah, definitely a lot of firsts. And this team has to get their heads out of their asses, plain and simple. And what's frustrating too is like sometimes we'll have the offense play extremely well, but then it's not reciprocated by the defense. We can never just have a complete game. The last complete game this team played was against Miami. Then they went to London. They were caught sleeping, and it just has not been the same since. So I'm confident that they can get back to where they were. I don't think that defense is ever going to be as good as it was, just because of the reality is, Matt Milano not being in that defense. Eddie Oliver was out today. Not sure how long he's going to miss. Hopefully he doesn't miss more time. Daquan Jones, that's a huge piece too. And then obviously Trey White. I mean, those are major league injuries, and you're not going to replace guys like that. And the fact of the matter is the guys that are playing in their place are just not as good. But can we get away with that? Can we still make things happen? We have a very solid defensive line. They played great up until really today. Today they were non-existent. I don't know what happened there. But I think you can kind of mask some of that just by being that defensive line that they were up into this game, up until this game, I should say. But a lot of firsts, like you said, Mike, and I think that just makes it even more frustrating. And again, it's one of those cases where we played down to our competition. The team didn't get hot enough early enough on in, and it just came back to bite them, plain and simple.
Yeah, Alpha Rob. Yeah, that's what they average, only 12 points per game. Yep. And that was 0.2 points better than the Giants. So in the last 2 weeks, we've faced the worst scoring offenses in the league, and we should have lost both games.
Make them look like world beaters. It's crazy.
My goodness. So let me see here. Griffin coming in saying, Bill sucked, just admit it. I'm never going to say that as a fan. I mean,
I will never listen. We'll give them some tough love, but as a fan,
tough love. Yeah,
I will never just walk out on them and just trash them and I'm sure the players are feeling it. They know what they have to do. It's I'm not that they're going to listen to us, but I don't want to add more energy, more negative energy to that.
I despise Bill Belichick. He stole a Super Bowl from us back when I was a young man, and here he is getting his 300th win against us. But I respect the hell out of him. I mean, again, they were 1-5 coming into this game, and there's people calling for his head. He's not going to be here at the end of the season. They need to fire him right away, immediately. And he comes in with a game plan, and it worked. It worked.
By the way, it was released right before the game that he had signed a multi-year extension with the Pats, too.
Wow.
Patriots
Okay.
are so top secret about that stuff, and no one really knew about it, but Ian Rappaport reported on it today.
That 300th win, this is just fishy to me. I don't know if this is WWE.
I mean, the NFL is an entertainment industry, technically. That's what they fall under, and there are different guidelines in there that allow you to technically rig things like that, but to say that it was rigged, that's a stretch.
Yeah, Brian, you don't have to tell me we're 0-4 in Super Bowls. I know it quite well.
Yeah, yikes. Just rub it in, brother.
It sticks with me. And, of course, that first Super Bowl loss wide right was with Belichick coming up with an amazing defensive scheme against a team they had no business beating. So Belichick, again, gets us. He's been a thorn in my side for many, many years. Let's see here. Let's ask this question. So I'll throw this to you, Brett. Do you guys think having Dorsey next to Allen would make any difference instead of him just being up in the box?
I actually mentioned it before on Sean's show, and I said that it would be a great idea to have him down on the field. I think, yes, he gets a better vision on the field or up in the box. Don't get me wrong, but I think that it would be a great idea for him to be down on the sidelines talking to him, maybe just to give him a little spark, and at halftime, switch it up, go up in the booth and make a decision. But the first half, that's where he's struggling. You need to be down there on the field and just talk to him. Say, hey, listen, this is what I see right here. Let's work on it. Let's just make a better decision in this situation, and we'll figure it out. But, yeah, I do think that he should be out there on the field, and it would make a difference for him.
I recall Brian Dable. I believe he used to be in the booth. Like when he first started calling plays with the Bills, he was in the booth. And then something clicked where he's like, listen, I got to be on the sideline with this guy. And then things kind of changed for the better. So maybe that's what has to happen. And I think Ken Dorsey, also being a former pro quarterback, the way he knows the game, the way he can process the game, that'll only help Josh with him being right next to him there on the sidelines when he comes off the field. And that. Go back to Mac Jones over Josh today or in general. You can't be serious about that. I know. Listen, if you're just trying to chirp us, it's fine. But if you really believe that, you are a psycho, absolute psychopath.
Yeah, I did like the fire that Mac brought today. You could tell. I mean, because he's been talked. It's been talked about him being benched, and so I did love the fire that he brought. But come on, Griffin. Now, Matt, I'm trying to interpret what you're saying here, buddy. I want to talk about this. Thank you for joining us over from Facebook. Appreciate you. We need to do that, Ken. He has a very bad temper. Every time we lose the game, he is growing. I don't know. You need to kind of come back to me with this one. I would love to talk about what you're saying. Don't want to ignore you,
Really
Matt.
honing in on that freak out against Miami, huh?
Yeah. So tell me what you're trying to say there, and we'll get into it, buddy. But they are a good team. Who's saying that, Brian? Let's see. What a bad Derek Presty. Yeah, what a bum ass game, y'all. Yeah, I mean, it's been like that for a few weeks now, right? They really got to turn this around and fast. And so let me stop right there because, Sean, what can they do to turn this around? What do we got to do? Can we?
Just simple, man. Just gotta really just execute, man. It's simple.
But think about it. I mean, some of those plays today, you factor in the Stephon Diggs deep ball, even on the touchdown that got called back. I mean, there's multiple plays there that would totally change the way that this game is, turns out. I mean, we're putting up over 30 points. We're probably feeling really good about the offense. I mean, the Dawson Knox touchdown that got called back is a tone setter in itself, and that team would have been right from there on. So a lot of things that could have just altered the way that this game ended up.
Do any of you know if Dorsey called plays from the field last year? I didn't see it.
No, I think he was in the booth all last year.
He was in the booth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Derek, where is Gabe Davis?
Great
Look,
question. Valid.
on a show last night with Sean, we talked about the guys we wanted to see them get the ball to besides Steph. We love Steph getting the ball. He's going to get his all the time, but you got to have somebody else. They took Steph away for the first half, and guess what? There was Dalton Kincaid. Love it. Wanted him. Yes,
Yeah.
he is a guy that should be on the field, and we saw today. I think going forward, you're going to see a lot more of Kincaid, a lot more snaps. And I didn't want him to go off the field. I kept saying, why is he going off the field? And then, of course, James Cook stepped up. But yes, where's Gabe Davis? What the heck's going on? Again, we're seeing signs of what we've seen. Gabe has a big game and disappears. And he's been gone. So I don't know what's happening there whatsoever. But I'll say this. Look, if I'm throwing the ball to Dalton Kincaid and I throw him to him often and I'm throwing to Steph, I mean, somebody's going to have less targets, and that's Gabe today. So
it's crazy because Gabe
Yeah.
plays majority of the snaps. Like out of every receiver on our team, he plays all the snaps basically. It's crazy, but you'd think he'd have more numbers than what he has. And it started off great, but then it's very hot and cold.
I'll throw up. Can you imagine Dorsey on the sideline? He's going to kick over the Gatorade, maybe dump the Gatorade over Josh. I don't know. He's got a temper for sure. But I agree. He should be there. I agree with you guys 100%.
Yeah.
And let's see here. Let's see if Matt got it right this time. Can understand. Dorsey has a very bad temper. Every time we lose the game, throw my stuff around all over. We need to let him go. He has a very bad temper. It's time to fire him. Oh, is that what you're trying to say? All right. Matt, so we asked the question. I think some folks have been saying that. A lot of folks have been saying that. Who are you going to replace him with at this point in the year? Because if you do, you're going to have to adjust to somebody unless I think somebody who is a Trek reviewer, who is he saying? Bring up, elevate Brady. And again, what's that going to change? I think it's still going to be the same playbook, right? It's going to be the same playbook. Is he going to incorporate a whole new scheme all of a sudden? I don't know, but Matt, tell me, who are you thinking? What would you? Right now I think it's too early, but I'm open to ideas, Matt. So throw it out there. Who are you thinking? And let's see here, Derek. I like that Ken gets upset. Yes, and he should get in Josh's ear and be upset with him. I wish Sean would be more emotional, get in the guys' faces. Jake, what do you think about that? As far as Sean being more emotional and getting guys' faces.
I think at the end of the day, you can't change the guy. I understand where you're coming from. Even Josh on the sideline. He's just out there staring at space. There's something a little off there. I feel like in previous years, he was at least getting up and getting his guys fired up. Not like a rah-rah type of guy, but at least just tapping guys on the shoulder. You're not seeing any of that this year. I'm not sure if it's that he needs to stay more composed because he gets too emotional. I guess whatever he has to do that works, do it. But the last few games especially, they pan the camera on him, and he's just kind of sitting there with his hat, and he's just, straight-faced. Nothing really. Not a ton of emotion there. So if there's anyone I want to see some more emotion out of, it's our boy JA-17.
Yeah, agree. Comedian Mo Brown, Brandon Bean has to fix this. Tell me in what way. We do have a trade deadline coming up October 31st. Does he make a big move? And if he does, where? How does he fix this? Or are you talking about in the future? But right now, I'm talking about now. What can we do? Turn the season around, get us back to winning ways, and get to the playoffs. Right now, it's just make the freaking playoffs. And I'm not sure we're going to be able to do that the way they're playing right now. But talk to me, comedian Mo Brown. I'm going to call him CMB for short. CMB has a cool ring to it. Taron Johnson is an athlete. Yes, he is. And jump. So I guess we've already kind of talked about that early on, right? It's just a big mismatch right off the bat. Jump against a guy who's 6'6", and what's Taron Johnson? 5'9"? Oh, no, so he's a little bigger than that, maybe 5'10".
Yeah, something like that. But no, I think he was already kind of set up for failure. He's playing off the ball 3-4 yards off. If you're gonna in that situation, they're gonna go to Gesicki. It's already a very obvious mismatch. At least jam him at the line, be physical with him. There was none of that. So right away, you already know that's a mismatch, and it's touchdown written all over it.
Yeah, I'm going to throw this one to Sean because he was upset as well. Go to no huddle. Kincaid, Diggs, Cook, Hardy. Yeah, hurry up. Hurry up sometimes. And they just weren't doing that. And let me throw it to you, Sean, because I know you had some thoughts on that as well.
Well, I like no huddle, but they still don't run with a sense of urgency. I was texting. I think I was texting you.
Yep.
We're down by 2 scores, and they're walking to the football. Like when you're running no huddle, you're supposed to sprint everywhere, and they're walking like they're up in the game. Like they can't even do that right. Like they do well in the 2-minute drill, but they're still walking, and they're not like, okay, we gotta hurry up, we gotta get going. Like every single play we had was like dropping down to the last few seconds on the clock.
Yeah.
Like wasting time waste. Like Josh can't get the play out. Josh can't read the defense quick enough and set everybody up that needs to be set up at. Like you can't even do that right. But I mean, usually the 2-minute drills are good for us. So I'd like to see that more. I mean, like I said, Cook did well in the past game. He ran the ball well. I want to hear, a lot of people out there talk about how good the shotgun runs were this week, because it does work. Can't work every time. No play works every time. The under center stuff didn't work today, and the shotgun stuff worked. That's how it is.
How about this, though, Sean? So this has been a big talking point, too. The shotgun runs for Josh Allen. Design quarterback runs. Because everyone's saying, hey, Josh Allen's got to start protecting himself. So that was something that I think the Bills have made a point to sort of take out of the playbook. But you'd like to see, I think, for me at least, and I'm not saying be crazy with it, but sometimes throwing in a design quarterback run would be cool. I mean, it would be nice just to get this team a little more juice. And actually, for Josh, I mean, I know he's a little banged up, but he said it himself. He needs to get hit sometimes to get himself a little more into the game. So maybe you sprinkle that in a little bit more moving forward.
Maybe. I mean, I feel like he's got to figure out different ways to get motivated to play in a football game when he makes $300 million. But if getting hit is what he needs, who's that guy for the Jaguars who used to have the guy punch him in the face before?
John Henderson. Henderson.
Do that then, because
come on, Joe.
Great
clip.
Come on, Joe. Putting yourself into harm's way just to try to get pumped up for a football game. I don't want that. That's not going to work. That's not how a quarterback should be. Does Pat Mahomes need to get smashed into the pavement before he plays good? No. No one else needs to do that. So you throw up before the game. You got to get smacked a million times before you play good. Like, you got to figure something out different. These aren't good avenues of being able to play a football game. But yeah, I mean, if he has to run once in a while, I guess. But we're not trying to have Cam Newton. These guys were all with Cam Newton. They ruined Cam Newton's career, basically, Carolina. He should be still playing football. And he declined because all he did was take all the hits. They had no offensive line. They had no other playmakers. So he had to keep minus Greg Olsen and, whatever, Steve Smith for a little bit. You got to do other things. And that they're trying to avoid that. They're not telling Josh, don't run when the play breaks down. They're saying, we're not going to call QB sweeps and QB powers like Dayball did. Because look what Dayball did to Daniel Jones. He's getting him killed.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's a good point too, Sean. That's a very good point. They didn't say don't run the football, because there are moments you see it. There's an open running lane, and Josh is electing not to run, and instead he makes a throw that either goes out of bounds or it's off target or it's an interception. When other times he would take that and he'd run, get a first down, and then it's like a whole new set of downs, and we're feeling great.
But the coaches get blamed for it because Josh is choosing not to do something. Like how many? It happens a million times. It seems like. There's an open lane. You can get at least a few yards, if not a first down, get in a field goal range or get into a fourth and manageable, fourth and short, and you overthrow someone or whatever. So his decision-making isn't that good this year. His stats are good. They're great. He was number 1 in total touchdowns, number 1 in completion, number 2 in QBR, all this stuff. Fantastic. But when it comes down to getting the game going and getting your players ready to play and getting them in great positions, he's just not doing it right now. And he could turn it around. He's still a top 2 quarterback, but that's why it's more alarming, is because are we getting to the point where everything has to be perfect for Josh to be good now? Is it like Tua? Like Tua needs Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, a great running game, a great offensive coordinator, a great head coach. Like, is that what we're going to now with Josh? It has to be perfect? Because it didn't used to be like that.
No.
We had a horrible offensive line last year. We just had Diggs. And we were 13-3 and a great offense, a great team. And now we got better off. We have a great offensive line. We have more weapons they're not great because I mentioned that before. We overhyped these weapons that we got, Sherfield and Hardy. They're better at catching the ball than guys like McKenzie. They don't drop it every time they get the ball thrown their way, but they're the 4th or 5th option on our team. and everybody expected them to come in and think, oh, Hardy and Sherfield are going to get 50 catches for the season and get like 700 yards and get all these touchdowns. That's just not the case. It's just not the case. So I don't know. Maybe Josh is just thinking, oh no, all the guys on defense are injured. I gotta ball out. I gotta be the MVP. I gotta do this. And now he's again not trusting the people around him. And I think that's a Josh issue.
Yeah. I mean, I want to say what comedian Mo Brown, he said Josh missed some big throws today. We kind of mentioned that earlier. Yeah, he missed Diggs on that wide open bomb. Beautiful play by Diggs going deep, beating two guys, and he was just way off target there. He beat him, missed him on another target over the middle, another deep ball. He missed Dalton Kincaid. Kincaid was open. There was a little bit of pressure on that one, but still, I mean, Kincaid's a big dude. You know, you don't need to throw that high. And of course, that interception to start the game, just can't have that. You want to talk about giving a team that you should beat momentum. I mean, just throw an interception to start the game. Unbelievable. I do want to say that, let's see here. Let's go through and catch up. A lot of folks in the channel. We really appreciate you. If you're new to our channel, please like, comment, and subscribe. We enjoy just, especially these type of games, man. We want to talk it out, and it's better when we have you guys helping us out. So appreciate it. Again, people saying Dorsey needs to go. Love what you say there, Derek. You can't install a whole new playbook at this point in the year. Absolutely not. And then again, Alpha Rob agreeing. Dorsey isn't going anywhere at this point. I like Dorsey's fury. I think you're saying fury or fire. One of the two. Both mean the same. Let's see here. Let me see if I can catch up here. You can't have it both ways. His emotions are fine. He needs to stop throwing picks. Yeah. So here's an interesting thing, Jake. I heard on the broadcast, that I hear this is correct, that Josh Allen hasn't gone, was it more than 2 games ever in his career without a turnover? Is that what I heard?
That is correct. Yes.
That's shocking. Did you know that?
Yeah. I mean, I would assume so. You know what, though? The thing is, like, he always makes up for it.
He does.
And I think this year it's been a little more potent just because there's something going on. It's the offense isn't clicking like it used to. So, and I do think a lot of that is execution. I will put a little bit on Ken Dorsey. Okay. He's not perfect, of course, but execution at the end of the day, it's not the same as what it was last year or the year before.
Yeah. It's always funny because most teams that are struggling, they always blame their offensive coordinator. I don't care what team you go to. Maybe you go the Chiefs. You know, they've been only averaging, although they're winning again, so they know how to win. They're 6-1, and I think they've dropped quite a few points on the Chargers today. But up until this game, they were averaging 24 points a game, and I'm sure if you were listening to their podcast, it'd be like, "Oh, our offensive coordinator, blah blah blah, needs to change." But again, you need to start looking at players. And we saw a lot of that today. A lot of things that happened are not Dorsey's fault whatsoever. I do think this is a good thing from Buffalo Bills boy. He might be onto something. Josh needs to start dating B-list celebrities to become more focused on the game. Tom Brady won 7 Super Bowls while married to just how's she say her name? Giselle. I think.
Hey, how about Haley Steinfeld though? What is she? C-list? What would she be considered? I don't even know.
I don't know.
My wife's in the room, so I can't say anything.
And you shouldn't, Brad. You shouldn't.
This can't be a guy's show tonight because she's in the room. She's doing the behind the scenes work.
Ask her what she thinks about Haley Steinfeld.
I don't know. I'll ask her.
You ask her.
I'll ask her. She's listening, so she'll put her comment in the comment section. So,
want to hear what she says?
Yeah.
Alpha Rob, maybe Allen thinking that was a BS play call or should have hit that open guy. And again, we talked about this too. I mean, Josh Allen has the power to call an audible, and he's done it. We've seen it in this game, and he has the ability to call off any play that he doesn't like. So I don't think that's the case, sir. Let's see here. What about Kansas City's offense coordinator? He's doing a great job. We needed him to come to Buffalo. I just talked negative about him. Just when I say negative, only because we're so used to them putting up a lot of points. Up until today's game, they were averaging about 24 points a game. He'd do a good job. Well, he's going to be a head coach probably soon. And why would the Chiefs? I get it because they have Reed. So maybe. But this guy's going for a head coach, I'm sure.
About their coordinator, he's actually been a head coach a few times, and he's failed
Matt Nagy
miserably. I don't believe he's even calling plays. It's always Andy Reid. Andy Reid's always got his his big menu in front of him, doing like this. Matt Nagy's probably more of just like he's just a guy there that's filling up a role, and Andy Reid always takes control of this offense, in my opinion. But Matt Nagy was a head coach, and he's been horrible. His offenses were always terrible, and even the Chiefs up until this game, they beat the Bears up pretty good. But other than that, they haven't scored much and they haven't been well. So it's not always green around the other side. So I think instead of thinking everything's on Dorsey's lap, we got to understand what this team actually is. Maybe we just aren't as good as we had hoped. Yeah, it could be two things can be true, right? Right now, we might not be that great. Can we turn it around? Absolutely. But right now, after 7 weeks, I can't sit here and honestly say that we're even a playoff team. It's really on thin ice. And after 7 weeks, nothing after that. Not worried about right now. Not worried about week 8 and whatever. But after 7 weeks, even if we were a playoff team, we'd be out in the first round. The way we're playing. So
I can't disagree with you, Sean.
Maybe we as fans thought, because also think about it too. Brandon Beane, we didn't have much money, and Brandon Beane's making these moves that everyone thinks is fantastic. Floyd was a good signing on defense, absolutely, but Sherfield, Hardy, like this stuff wasn't like needle movers, in my opinion. It wasn't needle movers for our team, and now it's showing. But people still believe that these guys are actual like big playmakers for teams. And then we're coming at this coach for not getting them 10 design plays a game. You'd rather throw to you'd rather throw to Sherfield than Stephon Diggs and Dalton Kincaid? I don't. It's just how it goes. It's the pecking order. And if Josh decides to go to them in a read, that's for him. But they're just not pivotal parts of this offense, and it's not necessarily because of the play calling. It's because Josh also would rather give the ball to Diggs and Davis and Knox and Kincaid and Cook. And it's just how it happens.
It's well put. Yeah. Mike, I think you were on mute, sir.
Yeah, I was just trying to test you guys to see if I was on mute. So thank you. It's just a test, see if you're still awake. Appreciate you.
Were you pulling a Mitch McConnell or no?
I do want to say one thing quick, too.
Oh, man.
Josh Allen only has 5 passes, completions, more than 20 yards or more in the air. That's not like a 5-yard catch and he ran 50 yards.
That's wild.
20 air yards or more. He has only 5 completions this whole season, and 5 of his 7 picks are 20 yards plus downfield. That's a problem. That's not because play calling. That's decision making. Josh Allen, I think they said he had over 100 completions of 20 yards or more. That's just like the most in the NFL since he's been in. Now he's got 5. That's with the team we got. You only got 5 completions, more than 20 air yards on the field.
I want to actually piggyback off of that because I'm reading something right now. This is really interesting. Next gen stats. Josh Allen, who averaged his longest time to throw in a game this season, 3.26 seconds, struggled when forced to hold on to the football. He went 10 of 24 for 130 yards and an interception when they held the ball for more than 2.5 seconds. And then he completed every one of his quick passes on the day. He went 17 for 17 for 135 yards and 2 touchdowns. So something to be said about the utilization of obviously our tight ends and the quick passing game.
Yeah. Is that for today's game?
That's today's game. Yep.
Wow.
Isn't it funny? You get a great offensive line, and then that actually makes it worse for you. You have a great pass blocking offensive line. You had the most time to throw, and you're worse than when you had no time to throw. It's just crazy, isn't that? I don't understand.
I think and that's something to be said. I will say I don't think the offensive line played their best game today. I think Christian Barmore really had his day. Osiris Torrance did not look sharp today, but I will say this, and this is a good point that Sean was kind of alluding to. This year, I think I've noticed it a little bit. Josh holding onto the football as long as he does. Obviously the offensive line, they're going to do their job. And it's like, you get a few seconds. And after that, it's like, no offensive line is going to hold for that long, So you're going to have pressures. A lot of it is forced pressure. It's not necessarily the offensive line letting up a guy and just getting absolutely bullied. That hasn't happened a ton this year. It's been much better than last year. So to always point at the offensive line, I think that's a little unfair. I do think today it was not great. It didn't look, I think both sides of the ball, trench-wise, we got totally dominated. I won't say we got totally dominated, but it was it wasn't good. It wasn't as good as previous weeks.
It's like he gets lazy when he has more time.
There's something weird with that. And the throws, even rolling to the right, which we always say how dangerous Josh is rolling to the right. He looked off on his throws today, and there's something to be said about that, you know? I still think he did a lot of great things, of course. I mean, there were still some Josh Allen moments. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
This guy is Superman. He still plays like Superman at times, but I think you're just seeing the last 2 games, it's been more bad than greatness, which we're used to seeing.
Yeah, I just want to go back real quick. Somebody offered us Rashad Bateman for Gabe Davis straight up 69. I guess you're a Ravens fan. You
want to talk about a guy that's underperforming. Rashad Bateman is not living up to that first-round draft status. At least Gabe is a 4th rounder, so he has that to kind of fall back on. But Gabe's had also an 800-yard season. Rashad Bateman has not done that yet, I don't believe. So I think he's got only 900 yards in his career.
Let's trade Gabe Davis and a 5th-round pick for Zay Flowers.
Oh,
Zay, how about Zay? He's balling, brother. He looks great.
Jake would take that all day. Let's talk about St. Seven's comment here. What is not clicking with Knox? Is it his skill set or something else? Because him and Josh should be on the same page all the time by now. And so, let's see. I haven't thrown it to you, Brett, in a little bit. So why don't you take this question first?
I'll take it first. I mean, this is a simple answer. Hand-eye coordination is what it comes down to. He's more worried about getting hit. He's more worried about turning upfield, trying to get yards after the catch. It comes down to just using his eyes to watch the ball come in. And he's making those simple mistakes. You know, you have to work on hand-eye coordination. There's little drills that you can do with this. You know, work on the tennis ball drill where you catch a tennis ball from each side and you just watch it. And it's just simple things like that. And he'll figure it out. He'll be fine. But simple things like this is what's causing Dawson Knox to miss the easy catches that Dalton Kincaid is making.
But he's been doing that for years, Brett. And he's been doing that, what do you want to call it, tennis ball thing. I mean, he's been working hard at it, but it still happens at the worst times.
It's also psychological. I don't want to get into the psychological part of it, but, I mean, he needs to work on just mentally being ready for those situations, because I think he's more afraid about getting hurt, especially with all the injuries that he's had recently. That's something that you have to fear too. So you never know what's going on in his head. That's something that you can't understand because you're not Dawson Knox. And if there's a situation that's going on in his head and he's worried about that big hit, that's something that he has to figure out, and he has to go to the team psychologist work out. But it's something like that that's going on. I think it's something, especially with his hand-eye coordination. I'm noticing it. He's starting to try and turn upfield and take his eyes off of the ball. But easy catches like those need to be made, and those are situations where I'm disappointed in him. But I still have a lot of confidence in Dawson Knox, and he's going to be around for a while. I can't wait to see him bounce back next week against the Bucks.
I don't know if I put that. If we're talking about that one where Josh rolled to the right a little bit, threw to him, and he kind of had his back to the dude and knocked the ball out, and the dude it blew him up. It wasn't a great throw by Josh. He kind of, again, they put it there, but again, the dude who hit him just laid it out and hit that ball perfectly. So I don't necessarily put that on Knox. No. The only thing I was initially thinking is like, damn, as soon as it touches your hand, pull it in. But I can't really put that on him. And that was just a great play by the defender. That's going to happen. And I don't know if Josh put the best ball on him. So anyhow, but I hear you. Hand-eye coordination, it's been a problem for a while now. He's he had the 2-point conversion. He had a touchdown called back. And I don't really put any blame on him this game, that pass. Again, I'd love to hear what the channel thinks. I don't think that was on Knox at all.
Yeah, it's recency bias. I think people are just frustrated because it's been a constant thing. Every game he seems to still have a drop.
Oh, yeah.
And it's in a big moment. Like, probably still a bad taste in our mouth from that Giants game where he dropped that one. That could have officially sealed the game. So I think a lot of that is sort of playing into this too. And obviously he's got a monster contract that he had signed with us, and the stats aren't equating to what that contract is,
Yeah, use the screen game. Use Cook like
I love
Thurman
this.
Thomas. The team
Yeah.
needs other receivers outside of Diggs to get
I would love to
separation
throw some
off the
screens
line.
to James Cook. It's
Yeah, I
non-existent.
mean, I know. Look what the Patriots did today. After we take the lead, you're thinking, okay, we got a 3-point lead. At worst case, we're gonna give up a field goal, and they give up a little screen to Stevenson, and he goes for 35 yards on the first play. Just soul crushing. But yeah, I totally agree, James Collins. We gotta see more of that. And I was really impressed with James Cook today. He was physical. A lot of people have said, he doesn't like to take on the physical play, or he shies away from it. Not today. I didn't see that at all. As a matter of fact, he was a beast out there. And we did get him the ball and space a little bit through the air. I want to see more of that. So totally agree with you, 100%. Let's see what Matt has to say. Sure. Go ahead, sir.
Do you mind if I take a second and kind of address, like you gave Jake and Sean a second to talk about Josh Allen and what's going on with him too. I kind of have an idea of what's going on with Josh Allen and how to fix this, because
Sure.
It's really simple. Josh Allen is afraid to make a mistake. I'm going to say that right now. He's got so many people in his ears telling him you can't do this, can't do that. You can't run the ball. You can't throw the ball and turn the ball over. Plain and simple, you just have to let Josh Allen be himself, okay? There's going to be games that we're going to have 3 interceptions. He's going to make mistakes. We're going to lose games with Josh Allen. We're going to win games with Josh Allen, and we're going to win way more games with Josh Allen being himself than we will with Josh Allen trying to be the cookie cutter version of himself. He's lacking confidence because everybody is telling him and chirping in his ear to slide, to not throw the ball into these situations and make a mistake. You just got to let the man be himself, because the best version of Josh Allen is when he's himself. He's not himself right now, and that's what it's coming down to. I don't put it a lot on the coaches, but somebody's just got to tell him and give him some confidence boost and say, listen, we ride or die with you, man. You're our freaking quarterback for the next 10 years. We love you. You're a great kid. You're going to win us Super Bowls, but let's just go out there and let's freaking do it. And let's go down the field. Let's do everything that you can. And if you see it out there and you see that you can run the ball, run the damn ball. If you have to hurdle a guy, hurdle a guy. That's what you do best. He's a better version, in my opinion, with when he sees it on the field and he needs to make a decision. He's better than Brett Favre was. I'm going to say that right now. I'm not saying that he's at the career-wise as Brett Favre, but decision-wise, he's better than Brett Favre. But he reminds me so much of Brett Favre as well. You just let him go out there on the field and you let him do his job. Don't try and change him and make him into somebody else.
He's not a system quarterback. He's not a system quarterback.
Yeah,
he's
not
one of one, and you got to let him do his damn thing.
Exactly.
I love Brett.
And there isn't a toxic relationship or anything like that. But man, I agree that Brett Favre has a ring and everything. I get what you're saying there. But what I'm saying is you just let the man be himself. Just let him go out there and do his thing, because you're going to win more games with Josh Allen being himself than you will with him not being himself. It just comes down to that. And I know I'm kind of repeating myself, but
yeah,
I think him being himself is the main issue, though. Himself being himself has not got us anywhere. It's just got us loss after loss after loss after loss. And part of being an elite or great quarterback, you have to develop. So we can't just say, oh, Josh has to throw 3 picks every game and run over running backs or linebackers and hurdle people, and then we'll maybe win a game here and there. You have to be able to take it back a little bit. You want to play long in this league? If Josh was doing what he's doing last year, he ain't going to play long in this league anymore. These guys are like the NFL nowadays. People are bigger, faster, and stronger than ever before. It's not like back in the 80s and 90s, people were getting lit up, but these guys were like string beans. Even the linemen weren't that ginormous as they are now. These dudes are like 350, and and they run like 540s. They're fast, they're big, they're strong. Yeah, and I agree. Josh has to be able to be not a system quarterback, but play in his system that's designed for him. And that's the problem. If he can't just sit there and not make and have to go crazy in his mind because he doesn't want to make a mistake, that's a problem, and it's on him. He makes so much money. He's a top 2 quarterback in this league, and if the only way he can win is if he puts his body in harm's way, We
No.
paid him too much.
That's not
money.
the case.
But Brett, let me ask you, like, who's keeping him from playing his game?
The coaches. I'm going to tell you right now.
The
It's
coaches.
Ken Dorsey. It's Joe Brady. It's the coaches. It's Brandon Beane, and they're telling him, "Listen, you got to slide. You got to take care of your body." All these little things that he's hearing in his head, and it came down to the first week against the Jets having a bad game, and that took away his confidence in the first game. You got to just talk to him, and it comes down to head coach and Sean McDermott. He's got to tell him, "Listen. Go out there, and if you see it, do it, but do a better job of taking care of your body." I completely agree with that side of it.
Yeah.
But if you see something, just do it. Make up your mind quickly and just decide, I'm going to run the ball, but I'm going to slide at the end. Okay? Simple. I'm going to throw the ball away. I'm going to make better decisions. But just be yourself and go out there, and if it's there, take off. If it's not there, throw it away. Because just like Sean McDermott will say, every drive should end in a kick. It should end in a punt, a field goal, a touchdown, whatever the case is, but it should end in a kick. And that's what it comes down to with Josh Allen. Just let him be himself. Let him go out there and win you games. And he might lose a couple games during the year. But right now, he's lacking so much confidence, and he will play better if you just let him be free. He is so uptight, and I'm going to say it right now. I'm going to use my first cuss word of the show, and I'll put $5 in the jar. He's got to stick up his ass right now, okay? And he's just got to push the dookie out and just go out there and freaking fire it up and just be himself. Because when he's fired up and he's himself, and you see it when he's got the energy, he rallies the guys around him. But right now, he's got to be the person that's, okay, I got to do this, and you're going to hold my hand over here. No, you don't do that to Josh Allen. You're not holding his hand. Just let Josh be himself.
I don't know if I agree with that, Brett. I respect the hell out of you, but I don't know if I agree
Brett,
with that.
I love it.
Let me
I'm
just
on
say this.
I think we're
Josh
split
Allen-
here. Me and Mike
Josh
are
Allen can do whatever the hell he wants, and it's on him. Like, he's not going to get fired, Brett. He's not going to get benched.
It is still on him, but
It's on him. He can make those plays. Like, again, you can't change. What do they say? You can't change an old dog's habits. He's not old by any means, but he is who he is. Teach an old dog, yeah. But, dude, I mean, you really think the coaches are saying, don't be you? That you already said this earlier in the show. They're not telling him he can't run. They're trying to tell him be a little bit smarter with his body. That's a good thing to say, but I don't put that on the coaches. I don't at all. And if he's being if he's scared to make a mistake, why is he making mistakes? So I don't get
it's in
it.
his head. That's what it comes down to.
I don't necessarily buy it. But anyhow, it sounds like Jake's on your side, and it sounds like Brett's on my side. I think we can respectfully disagree on this one.
I respectfully disagree. I'm just going to say, he's got it in his head that the coaches are telling him one thing when they're not. They're telling him another thing. And that's what it's coming down to, is he's in his own head. And when you get in your own head and you feel like the coaches are against you and everything, you're lacking confidence. Somebody's just got to come up to him and just say, listen, we ride or die with you, man. Let's go out there and let's just execute and let's do your job. Plain and simple. And if he gets that person to say that, I promise you Josh Allen will freaking play better, and it won't be the same offense that you're going to see today than you will against the Bucs. If somebody says that to him this week, he'll be fine.
All right,
I want to see the killer Mamba mentality, Josh Allen. I'm not saying I want to see Josh Allen go out there and hurdle a guy. And I will say this, I don't put as much blame on the coaches as I do himself. He needs to make plays when he can and be smart making those plays, if that makes sense. Like, that is what we're missing this year. Like, I haven't ever has it even happened where there's been like a clear cut running lane and Josh just takes it himself? I mean, and I'm not saying I want to see him go out there and, freaking lower his shoulder and hurdle someone. Get out of bounds, get the first down, get out, protect yourself, do all that stuff. But use your legs. You're still an athlete. You're not going to have them for your entire career, but you may as well use them while you have them.
But have the freedom to do it.
Killer Mamba mentality, not so much like this. Okay, it is. I do see a little uptightness there, Brett. I'm with you on that. I'm definitely with you on that. I think just letting him play loose, but obviously play smart. And maybe it is something on the coaches where they have to say, like, listen, you can You can do your thing within reason. Don't be an idiot. And I'm sure they're probably saying that to him, but I am more on your side with this one for sure.
I don't know. I just feel like they're not telling him not to be good at football. He just decided not to be
definitely
good at
not.
football. Like,
no, they're not saying that.
Bringing up the first play of the game, Josh chose to not read the defender, and he threw a pick. That wasn't because he wasn't playing free. It was because he made a dumbass decision. And that's Josh's career in a nutshell. He leads the league in turnover since he's been in the league because he makes dumbass decisions. And it's not – Daboll was a coach, and he was playing free then. He's always played free, and he is free. Nobody's telling – he runs – this is his team. He runs this offense. And if he doesn't trust his guys, like people are – if Josh doesn't trust his guys, his other skill guys, that's on Josh because they're in the league just like you are. You make more money than them, but they're on your team. If you can't trust your guys, then it's a bigger issue than just, whatever people want to blame it on. If Josh can't trust his guys, if Josh has to get hit to win the football game, if Josh has to hurdle people, or if he has to throw in the triple coverage to feel like he's confident, then we made a big mistake paying $300 million for a quarterback. He's a great quarterback. But if he has all these limitations and he has to be everything has to be so prim and proper and perfect for him to succeed, then that's a problem. That's all I'm saying. And I think we don't know that what the coaches are saying to him, but I know for a fact they're not saying, yeah, Josh, when you have a clear lane for a first down, just sail it over Knox's head for a fourth down or throw an interception, and it'll be like a punt, and that'll work just great for us. All right, buddy? And then he said, yeah, sure, coach, got it. Like, he has no reason to be uptight because he's never had blocking like this in his life. This is the best offensive line he's ever had in his whole collegiate career and in the NFL. So if you're uptight when you have all the protection in the world, you have too much time, and I feel like he's the type of guy that he can't think. If he thinks too much, if he wants to, I can, I got a little bit of time, maybe I can hold the ball for 5 seconds and wait for a guy to go deep down the field. Like, I feel like he needs to make the decision in a split second because he's proven that even with time. And, I mentioned maybe if he waits a half a second longer, you can see the plays develop. Maybe even more than that is too much because it seems like every time he gets more time, he makes dumb plays. So maybe he needs to have, we got to do everything like this. We have to have a bad offensive line so you can scramble a million times, run up and down the field, get hit, scramble and run 10 times a game, lead the league in rushing or lead the team in rushing, and maybe, that will work better for him. Because
anything under 2.5 seconds, Sean, he was 17 of 17. So
yeah,
there's something to be said about that.
The stats
the less thinking, the better.
It's not, he's great. Again, he's great, but I just don't think that it's the coaches not having designed runs for him, which is why he's not succeeding. I think it's just he's just not being smart with the football.
Yeah. I mean, we're split down the middle here, perfectly split down the middle here. So
look at that.
It's a little bit of both, I'm sure. But let's move on. And comedian Mo Brown, I don't know. He's trying to bring the peace. This was our one throwaway game. Let's all chill out.
Our one throwaway game was the Jets.
And the Jets,
threw that away.
the Jaguars,
the Jags game.
and this
threw
one
away
were
the Giants
4-3.
game. Threw away this game.
It's scary, Mo Brown. You're right. I mean, again, we said at the beginning, I hope you caught my opening speech. I mean, we're not giving up on this team, nor will we ever. If you're a Bills fan, you just don't do that. This team is talented enough. They just got to turn it around. And if they don't turn it around quickly, this season's going to be lost. And, right now it's all about winning the division. What's the update on the Eagles game? Anyone have the score right now? I know it was at halftime. Actually, I have it. It's 17-10.
17-10.
And the Dolphins are driving 1st and 10 at the Philadelphia 28-yard line is the current update. So
Mostert is running all over this team. I'm going to tell you that right now. The defense is getting tired for the Eagles, and they're going to be able to run the ball quite often. And that makes me pretty happy because I know all of you guys are in the Nickel City Mafia fantasy league that we have going on right now. I'm happy about this. If Raheem Mostert goes off, that makes me happy. And I also have Jalen Hurts. So only can be a good thing either way for me.
Yeah, so James Collins, it's not Josh Allen. When a team only has one weapon who can get separation off the line, our opponent knows how to defend the team. Today was different. I mean, we've been talking about getting Kincaid involved. We did get Kincaid. He was the leading receiver, 8 receptions for 75 yards, averaged 9.4. There was one that Josh missed him. He would have had potentially close to almost 100 yards. So it was a great game for Kincaid. And when you factor in that they were taking him off the field quite a bit, it's fantastic. And that's what we want to see. So I agree with you. Gabe Davis hasn't been that person, but today we saw who can be that person. James Cook had three receptions for 46 yards and a touchdown. We said that too. Get the guy you drafted who has great hands out of the backfield and utilize him. Would like to see some more screens. We talked about that a little bit as well. Khalil Shakir, 4 targets. Guess what? 4 catches for 35 yards. I'm a huge Khalil Shakir fan, and I love the fact that we saw a lot more of him today, and I hope to see that going forward as well. What's that?
I said people are open, that's for sure.
Yeah, Stephon Diggs. So, let's go through a few stats here. Right, I'll run down I'll go through the Bills first. Josh Allen was 27 of 41, 265 yards, averaged 6.5 yards a reception or a completion, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, was sacked once. James Cook ran the ball for 13 times, 56. Josh Allen 7 for 17, had a touchdown. Latavius Murray 4 for 8. So they basically had 24 for 81, 3.4 yards average. Not great. Not too bad, but not great. And they ran the ball 24 times. Kincaid again, like I already mentioned. Stephon Diggs, 6 for 58 with a touchdown. He was really coming on in the ends, and he could have had a huge day. If Josh doesn't overthrow him or miss him on a couple big plays, Diggs is over 100 yards easily once again and probably has another touchdown to his stat line. I said James Cook 3 for 46 and Khalil 4 for 35. Latavius Murray, I kind of mentioned that last night. I like to see he's a good receiving back. He's a big guy. Had a nice 2 for 20. And then Dawson was 1 for 10 on 3 targets. Deontay Hardy was 1 catch for 10 yards. Gabe Davis, 5 targets, only 1 catch for 6 yards. Whoa, wow, that's a problem. Trent Sherfield had 1 catch, 1 target for 5 yards. And let's see. This is Josh Allen had a fumble. Did he have a fumble?
Yeah, it was at the end of the game when he tried to lateral it backwards.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Sucks because it's -2 in fantasy, and I have him in like 3 leagues. It's unfortunate.
Yeah. So Mac Jones had a quarterback rating of 126.7, whereas Josh Allen's, let me give you the QBRs between the two. Mac hasn't beaten both categories. QBR for Josh was 68.8, which is the ESPN algorithm, which takes more into account. And Mac Jones was 78.2. Quarterback rating, Josh was a 90, and Mac Jones was a whopping 126.7. Fantastic game for him. They ran the ball 24 times for 96 yards, averaged 4 yards a carry for a touchdown. Their big receiver was Kendrick Bourne, 6 for 63 and a touchdown. Demario Douglas couldn't stop this guy. I'm like, who the hell is Demario Douglas? What's going on? 4 for 54. And Farrell Brown, tight end for them, 2 for 51. Stevenson had 6 catches. That's what James Cook should have every game. He should at least target him. And that was on 6 targets. So those were nice short screen plays to him. Hunter Henry with a couple catches and Gesicki with the 2 catches. Obviously that 1 big touchdown to give him the win. So there's some stats. We'll get into the defense in a little bit. Let me get back to everyone here and see what we're talking about. Looks like we're caught up on the chat. Where's everybody? Is that it? We're an hour and 20 minutes into the show. Are you starting to feel better already, or do you have nothing else you want to talk about? Throw it out there. Let's go. Let's talk
Definitely
about it.
Feel better, but I was just looking at the team stats overall so far.
Yeah.
And Gabe Davis is 5 receptions different from James Cook from being the 4th leading receiver. It's Diggs, Kincaid, Davis has 22, and Cook has 17 receptions. He's supposed to be a number 2 guy. And, like I said, in the film, you see other people are open. Davis is open sometimes. Like, everybody gets open. But when he's targeted, he's not reliable. And that's always been his MO. Just like with Knox. And, just to pan back at him real quick. He's only really had 1 season where he didn't have drop issues. He's never been a consistent player, except for that 1 year, and then he got paid. And if you don't remember, because I forget sometimes too, I think he had 1 target in Ole Miss or something crazy, like 1 catch or something in his whole college career, something crazy, or 1 touchdown or something silly. He wasn't usually used as well over at Ole Miss. And then you draft him, and then you expect him to be some, Travis Kelce guy. He's not. He can make plays, but he's a guy who, just like with Josh, you got to take the good with the bad. Knox can make good plays. He's also going to drop easy plays and kill drives for you. And again, I can't say for sure. Oh, Hurts pick 6, great. But can't say for sure if it was 1 catch or 1 touchdown, but it was something very minuscule that he did at Ole Miss. I don't know if the person who said it back then was wrong, but you just have to understand maybe he's just not that guy where we're expecting him to be an elite tight end. He got paid big money, but he's just, you get like with Josh, you got to take the go with the bad. And I guess with Davis, it's the same thing. He's good sometimes, but then he might be terrible the next game. He's been terrible 2 weeks in a row though, but he'll have his games where he'll get 6 catches for 100 yards and a touchdown. Then he'll get 1 catch for 6. Then he'll get 2 catches for 10. Like we got to start to realize or question, is it, maybe we should start, instead of trying to get project players, maybe we should actually draft people who are more ready to play. Because we did that with Rousseau, project player. It worked out pretty good. But, Josh Allen was a project. Worked out pretty good. We got a lot of project players, and you got to maybe draft people who are ready to play in the NFL and maybe don't have as high of a potential ceiling, but have a way higher floor. And, maybe that's something that we can consider going into this year's I don't want to talk about draft, but maybe Bean can consider that this coming off season.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about the offense. I think for most of the show, we've talked about the offense. But as I said at the opening, this was a complete team failure. I mean, the defense, although Jordan Poyer made that amazing, punch, fumble, and allowed us to go get the the go-ahead score for a brief minute. But there was times when Poyer didn't look good in the box, missing tackles. And I think this was the worst outing by our defense by far. And Jake, let's talk about the defense, because we've been putting so much of this blame on the offense. This is a complete team failure. So let's talk a little bit about the defense. We just saw without Ed Oliver what that front interior can do, and it was awful. So let me throw it to you, man. Talk about the defense and what you saw today.
Reminded me a lot of the Bengals game, to be honest with you. Just absolutely dominated up front. The defensive line, there was a lack of penetration, a lack of big plays when we needed them. Leonard Floyd, I think, was credited with a forced fumble on the one play, but otherwise, yeah, he was pretty non-existent. None of our defensive linemen got a sack today. I think we're really missing DaQuan Jones a lot in the middle there. We really, really missed Eddie Oliver. And it's crazy because it's like, for those 2 guys to make that big of a difference, we have some really good veteran talent behind them. And Jordan Phillips, Tim Settle, guys that should be stepping up and filling in, and there shouldn't be that much of a drop-off. So it's definitely concerning, because if we have another injury on that D-line, whether it be Eddie Oliver or, whoever, the play just did not look good. And yeah, Von Miller still on a snap count, but again, really non-existent. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what's going on there.
It's like they're not, if it's on a snap count, like he wasn't, I don't think he was on the field on that final drive. Did you see him?
No, he was not.
You would want.
No, the only guy that was really consistent in registering some type of pressure was AJ Epinesa. He's been great this year. He really has. I can't say a whole lot of bad about him. But even so, you expect guys like that to register something,
Yeah.
Statistically, they didn't do much. Their offensive line, credit to their offensive line. They played really, really well. Credit to the Patriots as a whole today. That was a great played football game by them. Mac was very efficient. Didn't do anything too flashy, but he got the job done. They got a really good talent in Demario Douglas. That was a steal in the 6th round. I talked about that on our Summit show a few weeks ago, just talking to Chris about Demario Douglas. I think he's going to be a player in this league. He could definitely be an asset for that offense. And then, of course, the running game wasn't anything flashy, but they got the job done when they needed to. So credit to the Patriots as a whole. They came out, they played, they showed us up, and need to give them their flowers, just because this is a team that was very much doubted. Bill Belichick, potentially on a hot seat, probably still is, but at least he lives to see another game. And it's crazy that we're talking about this, the greatest head coach of all time. But yeah, I think the defense for the Bills, they just got totally outclassed. I will say I liked what Jordan Poyer did today. That was nice to see him come alive a little bit. I think both safeties, him and Micah Hyde, actually played pretty well. But across the board, it just didn't look pretty otherwise. Terrell Bernard did have the fumble recovery, so that was good. But, yeah, and then, of course, my boy, Dorian Williams, gets replaced by Tyrell Dodson. And did the play really drop off that much? According to Sean McDermott, that was the reason why he was replaced, saying that there were some plays there that, I could bring up the actual quote about it, but yeah, it was something.
That's interesting. They kind of did that last week too. I thought maybe they're just sharing time. I said a couple of negative things about Poyer in the box where he missed a couple tackles. Obviously, he did have that one big where he forced the fumble. He had 10 tackles on the day. He had the one sack as well. And then he had the sack, tackle for a loss. 2 quarterback hits they give him credit for. Bernard, again, was the leading tackler. And I love, like you said, I mean, he's just got a nose for the ball. If that ball's loose, you can be guaranteed Bernard's right around there. So he made that amazing play. Dean Jackson had 7 tackles. Let's talk about the corners. And again, we got the trade deadline coming up. And I think both Sean and I last night said, man, if there was one position, which it's crazy to think that this is the position we'd be saying, is cornerback. Like, go get somebody, maybe a vet, somebody who can come in there because right now they're not looking good. And I did not like that soft coverage. How can you not complete a pass? If the guy's 10 yards off the line from you, you just do a quick in, it's there all day. So let me throw it to you, Sean, to talk a little bit more about the defense. By the way, before I do that, let me say hi to Matt Chatter. Appreciate you. Where you been, buddy? Been looking for you since the show started. Good to see you coming out there. He's probably watching the game. All 22, you see the Pats offensive tackle handle Floyd. Yeah, I mean, the outside, the pressure, man, nothing was coming from the outside. Inside was it looked like the Patriots were like the top ranked offense, and they're not. So their offensive line, it was unbelievable. And Daquan Johnson, more Ed Oliver. I mean, we've seen with Ed Oliver in there, we're still pretty stout, but you take both those guys out, not the same anymore. And then Settle, Knox, Davis on my trade board. If it was up to me, okay, I can see that at all. I can't argue with you. Mac threw dime on Bernard, and that was a good throw. That was a very good throw. And Bills need to get AJ more involved. And like Jake said, AJ was probably from the edge the only person that really brought or showed up or showed some pressure. Otherwise, it was a bad day for that line. But let me throw it to you, Sean, to talk a little bit about that defense.
I think the problem is, I mentioned it earlier, I felt like maybe we were fine at D tackle, without Jones. Like maybe we could get by because of how good our defensive line is or was, because now they lost the title of being great. And, they got to prove it every week, and they didn't prove it this week. And it alarmed me because I thought, you know what, maybe if we just get a corner, maybe the defense could be solid. But we can get a corner, and then if Oliver sits out a game, or if he gets hurt during the game or something happens, we're screwed up front. And, so we have more than one, unfortunately, big position that we would need to get a trade for if we're going to compete. And I mentioned it earlier to, I think, all you guys when I talked to you today. We have to understand that this defense isn't going to be the defense that was in the beginning of the year anymore.
Right.
We're going to have to score at least 30 points every single game to win. And, I mean, should they have not given up 29 to a Patriots team that averages 12? Absolutely. But it's just not the same anymore. It really hurts having no Jones, no Milano, and no Trey. Our corners are getting burned by pedestrian receivers, and now you got to play a guy like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin this Thursday. If we couldn't guard Kendrick Bourne and the guy that Jake likes, I don't even know his name because he's
Demario Douglas.
Demario Douglas, who's been nothing all year until now.
Oh no! I know it's. He's not. He's not this top. Yes, right.
He's got talent, but he hasn't been a world beater at all this season until he played the Bills. And then now you got a guy like Chris Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, who Mike Evans is an all-pro, Pro Bowler, 1,000-yard season every year against our guys.
Yep.
And it's not going to work out well. And especially if you can't get pressure, Baker Mayfield's going to destroy this defense. And he's not even that good, but he looks good because he's throwing to great receivers. So we have problems on every single level of the defense. Yeah, they can make plays once in a while. Yeah, Poyer made a good punch out, but he's a problem too. He does more bad than good now, and it's just how he is. Right, you got to accept it. He's got great instincts, like Jake mentions all the time. Him and Hyde have perfect instincts, and I love that. But sometimes the age catches up with them, and it shows sometimes. But he came through when we needed him most, and he got the fumble. But you can't rely on that. Just like I mentioned, people talk about the Jets. I know it's off topic. All the games they win, they get like 4 turnovers. That's not sustainable. Just like we can't rely on defense making a play at the last drive of the game to give us a chance to win. The offense needs to step up because the defense isn't going to be able to perform much better than they have been the last couple of weeks. It's just how it's going to be. Unless Vaughn can come out of nowhere and play like he did last year, and then that'll help Floyd play better and Epinesa, and then Groot can play better, maybe. But with what our D tackles proved today, it's not making me feel confident that we can play good against good teams now.
Yeah,
especially because their offensive line was ranked 30th in pass blocking.
Yeah, that's insane. That's insane. They didn't look like that today. Nope. Not at all. But Brett, let me throw James' question to you. Chris Sims says that the Bills lack sizzle players on the offensive side of the ball. Or do you think it's both sides of the ball that the Bills are lacking impactful players?
I think it's both sides. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the offense, to a degree, yeah. I think we're lacking maybe one player. Could it be a guy like Hunter Renfrow who could come in and make an impact for the Bills? Maybe. Defensively, definitely, we're lacking some impactful players. I really want to see guys like I'll throw a name out there in the trade market that we could get. Had a big day today, actually, as the Eagles just got a touchdown right now to take the lead. But Jalen Johnson, big game from him this week. 2 interceptions, 39 yards in interception yards. That would be a great name for the Bills to go after. And if the Bills could trade, let's say, Kyer Elam and grab him, that would be an excellent move for the Buffalo Bills. It would really secure the position at corner for right now. It would solve some issues. And I would love to see them do that. I think they run a similar defense to what the Bills do, but that would be a name that I would love to see. Yes, we're missing some guys, but who can we get? I mean, right now there's not a lot of people on the trade market, especially like Sean said. I mean, you got 12 teams that are still competing for the division or for the conference in the AFC. And then on the other side, I mean, there's probably 9-10 teams that don't want to get rid of their guys. And the asking price for guys like Derek Brown, who's on the Panthers, and guys that are on the Cardinals and stuff like that, they're going to ask for first-round picks, and we just don't want to give up that type of draft capital. So, and we don't have the money to do it either. So right now we might just have to stay put and just rely on the guys to step up. You're on mute, Mike.
Other test. Good stuff, Brett. Thanks for answering that, taking that question. Again, like Big L says, yeah, I think it's time for Bean to pick up a couple sizzle players. And it's just like, and I'm going to tell you something, guys. If I see the Chiefs make a big move, because they were talking about needing wide receiver, they did trade for McCole Hardman. I get it. The guy that they used to play for. It's kind of funny that they bring him back because they realize, I mean, I forget what the number was, but their wide receivers just weren't. I don't know if they had any 100-yard receivers other than Kelsey. I mean, Kelsey's their guy, but they had no real supporting around him, staff around him. But if they make a move, guys, I'm going to be upset. And we don't. I'm just saying. Hopefully we do. I don't know what's out there, like you said, Brett, so you answered that extremely well. This is kind of funny. I don't know. Did Elam even see the field? I didn't even see him, so that's why he didn't stick out badly. He didn't play much. I
didn't see him out there at
He
all.
might have been on special teams. I don't know if I even seen him there. I won't know until I look at PFF, see if he had any snaps. Anyone see Elam?
I didn't see him.
Not that
I
I
have to go back
remember.
and watch the film. Yeah.
No, I
So
never saw him.
I do remember Bernard. I do remember Benford playing pretty bad, and Elam taking a lot of heat when he played bad. But Benford's not getting the same energy from the fan base.
They're going to. I mean, it keeps up like this. I mean, both of them. I think Jackson missed a big tackle early on, and again, they're playing some very soft zone, which is concerning. Yes, Matt Chatter Kincaid getting into the game. Yes, want to see that going forward. That should be, he had 8 targets and 8 catches. The guy catches the football, throw it to him. Him and Diggs are now your 1-2. He's actually Sean just said it. He's the number 2 receiver for the Buffalo Bills right now. Is Kincaid, and let's
And he
keep
missed
that
the
going.
game too.
And he missed the game, which is sad. Nicholas Smalter, go Bills. Isn't Nicholas?
Go Bills, baby.
You know Nicholas, right, Jake?
That's my boy. That's my boy. Yeah, he's out there in the great north in Canada.
Is he the one who recently got married?
Sure was. Yep.
All
The
right,
wedding
all
photo
right.
was just released. There's
All
a
right.
great picture of me snapping the football to him. Fake football.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I'm
Maybe
looking.
we
a
gotta
little
get
thick,
you out
though.
there, Jake.
Listen, I'm looking a little thick though. Listen. This is a check yourself moment because in that picture, the white doesn't look too good on me right now. I put on a few pounds. I gotta say.
Barbell Thursday, Big Al sounds good before the
man.
game, and then what are we doing Wednesday, Jake? Wing nuts and
Wednesday we're gonna wing nuts. We'll see. Maybe Elmo's. Maybe we'll do something. I mean,
it's gonna be a good time.
we're definitely. Oh yeah.
Can't wait to meet you, Big Al.
Are you guys
be
going to room 40 or no?
Room 40.
We'll be there.
I won't say it on air.
Don't fall for it, Mike.
All right. I'm not
I'll put
falling
it in the
for it.
private
Again,
chat.
if it's Brett saying something, I'm a little worried. I gotta say.
It's great.
All right.
I don't know. As far
Love
as
you, Brett.
trades go,
Love you, Brett. I got to say something real quick. Yeah, I'll come back to you, Sean. Sorry, I just picked you up. But this was a complete team failure. What's going on with Tyler Bass, Jake? Special teams, your thing. What the heck?
the whole thing.
I mean, 2 field goals last week. Again, they were 52-yarders, but still got to make at least one of those. And this one today, what was it, like a 37-yarder? What's going
42,
on?
I think. Yeah,
it
you know what
42?
though?
What's
I'll
going
say
on?
this: it looked straight on, and things were looking great, and the wind just blew it way over.
He knows.
Now,
you got to account for that.
You
though.
do.
Come on.
You have to account for that. Yeah. A guy that's Mr. Automatic. Yeah, I mean, not so automatic as of the last 2 games. So, yeah, it does concern me a little bit. Snap looked great, by the way, though. Just want to say. My boy Reed Ferguson looking
You
fantastic
wearing
as
the
always.
Reed Ferguson jersey yet?
I have not worn it yet. Maybe that's the issue. I'm
Yeah.
going to be wearing it on Thursday, though. I can assure you of that.
Right, good.
Yep.
So
I don't know who I'm going to wear. Probably wear Oliver.
There you
I
go.
I would have
the
worn
issue-
Milano, but I'm heartbroken, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
wear it.
the issue with that Tyler Bass kick, if you go back and watch it, actually, is when you look at the all 22, you'll look at the way that the flags were on the field goal, or not the field goal, the goal post. I mean, and the way that they were at, they weren't moving whatsoever. So you don't. The way that they built the stadium is crazy because you won't find out if the wind is blowing like that because they constructed it so that opposing teams would not figure it out. I'm just telling you, it's crazy that they see it. You see that, and when you look at the film, you'll see it. The flags are not moving whatsoever.
I saw that, Brett. I saw that, Brett. Maybe we should look into them potentially having some Jet fans that they turned on. Some illegal fans going on that just because that was crazy. That hook was insane. It's kind of how when I hit a golf ball off the tee, it always does that. And again,
likewise.
I mean, like you said, Brett, I saw the same thing. I'm like, the wind wasn't blowing. Is it just the way you kick the ball? Because of course, field goal kickers can do that. They have some control over whether it hooks right, hooks left. But that was interesting.
And you notice how the play calling, there's issues with play calling in Gillette Stadium again with the Buffalo
Josh couldn't
Bills.
hear.
Yeah, Josh couldn't hear them. They cut the mics off again. I'm just saying.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Man, so, somebody wanted to get Bill to his 300th win for sure against the Bills.
He should have saved it for the Jets because he loves beating the Jets.
Yeah.
Well, guys, the chat's gotten a little quiet. I mean, do you want to? Oh, sorry, Sean. I said I would throw it back to you. You had some trade.
No, I mean, I was just gonna say nothing seems likely. I mean, we could have fun and fans can speculate something that we could do. But I mean, I just don't see it possible. But one thing I sent to the group chat was Jonathan Allen cussing and swearing about how it's the same stuff being in Washington, like 7 years of the same stuff when he cussed. And I was like, hey, Ron Rivera, Sean McDermott, trade Tim Settle back there with a pick to get Jonathan Allen. You got Jonathan Allen at Oliver, Jordan Phillips, and Poona Ford, and then next year you let either Poona. You got Daquan Jones. You got Daquan Jones at Oliver and Jonathan Allen. Like that, that can't be. That won't be a bad. I would do that. I would give. I mean, Allen hasn't been. I mean, Washington's D line hasn't been great all season. I don't think, besides like the first 2 weeks. But I would trade Settle in like a third, maybe for a guy like Jonathan Allen, and then I don't know what his contract is like, so I didn't do any research into it. I just saw it right before the show of him complaining. So I was like, you know what? I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind getting a guy like Jonathan Allen over here.
I'd even trade a second for him. Jonathan Allen is a dog, man. Like to get a guy like that, I would be willing to part with some draft picks for that.
Brett has all that information. I'm sure Brett already has it at the tip of his finger. Do you have some information about what his contract looks like right now?
Actually, I was going to go on over the cap and just see what the contract details were for you guys. I'll work on that for just a second.
Okay.
I just think the only problem is they're still technically in a playoff hunt. They're 3-4. So I don't know if they're going to be willing to trade him away. Unless he's in like the last year of his contract and maybe they'd trade him and then we can either rent him or re-sign him. Kick the can down the road.
Yeah, maybe. I hope like something's got to give, and it would be great to have a nice big splash play by Bean, but we'll see. Haven't seen that before. But let's talk about, I think we beat this game to death. I think, like I said, the channel's got a little quiet on us, and let's talk a little bit about what's happening this upcoming week. You kind of heard it. Sean is traveling to Buffalo to meet up with Jake. Sean's in upstate New York, I believe, right? Mm-hmm. And he's traveling to Buffalo, going to meet up with Jake on Wednesday. They're going to have some amazing wings. The first time they're going to meet in person, which is fantastic. Can't wait for that. It's going to be fun. I got my first time out there. Well, not my first time in Buffalo, but a couple of years ago, I got to go meet Jake and his dad at the Bar Bill. It was absolutely fantastic. I know you've been to the Bar Bill already, but Jake, he's a VIP there. You're going to have some special wings served up to you that you didn't have this first time. And then we're gonna hopefully do a show Wednesday night. I don't know. I think Wednesday night you're saying you're going to Wing Nuts, right?
Well,
that's correct.
I'm getting there around 3, so we're gonna go to somewhere as soon as I get there, and then we're gonna go at night too for dinner.
Okay. So what we're gonna try to do, Jake, this is kind of on you because Sean's gonna be traveling. If you do go to Wing Nuts, maybe call or talk to the ownership, see if they're okay with you streaming live at the table. I've seen the other podcasts do it there, and let them know you're going to plug their amazing wings. So hopefully we can set that up. If not, we'll just wait till you guys get home and we'll go live and we'll talk about that wings and we'll get into the pregame show about the Bucks. The other nice thing about Sean coming to town, he's undefeated whenever he goes to a Bills game. So you have that as well. But Jake, it's an exciting week. And if you fall off a bicycle or you get hit by a pitch, you want to get back on the bicycle as soon as possible. You want to get back up at the plate as soon as possible. So I love the fact that we have a Thursday night game. We don't have to wait long to see if these guys can recover and get things right. So, Jake, exciting week, huh?
Very exciting week. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I have 2 full days of work, half day Wednesday. It's, going to get out. We're going to go get Sean at the train station. The plan is Wing Nuts early. So then wherever we go later on, Mike, that'll probably be when we do the show. So was thinking maybe Gabe's Gate. That might be a good spot on a Wednesday night. And it's
Gabe's Gate?
Gabriel's Gate. Yeah. So that's like
I don't want nothing to do with Gabe. So we'll go some.
Oh no, don't hey. Watch Gabe Davis had a game of his life. We're doing this for Gabe. We're gonna bring his mojo back.
All right. We'll do it then.
Gabriel's Gate is fantastic, I think, and it's right in the city of Buffalo, so you get to go downtown too. Sean, have you ever been downtown Buffalo?
I don't know. I don't know because I was there.
We're gonna do that. I think that's the move.
I don't know exactly where I was. I was in Vegas.
Yeah, cheek to Vegas. Yep, cheek to Waga, cheek to
Where are
Vegas.
you guys sitting at the game?
Oh man, right next to the tunnel, like the first few rows.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's gonna be sweet, man.
You see what Trekkervier said? Did you say this, Sean? Kick Cam down the
No,
road?
I said kick the
Oh
can.
my God.
down
Okay.
the road.
Thank you so much for correcting that. Come on, Trek
That's
Reviewer.
Hey, let's trade Cam Lewis for a first round pick.
Oh man, Cam Lewis
Would you
would
do it, Mike? Trade for Cam for a first round?
for a first rounder, of course, but and Cam could bring that. He's got that type of value. Let me just say that much.
Why not give him a chance? I mean, throw him out there for a few plays.
Right?
I will say though, as defeated as I feel the last couple of weeks, and I haven't enjoyed football since I went to the Bills game against Miami, which seems like ages ago. I'm excited to go back to Buffalo, get these wings, get to meet Jake, get to meet little MVP and Jake's family, his awesome family, and hopefully enjoy ourselves at the game because it's a long train ride home. And
Yeah.
Dude, it's gonna be rough.
It's not going to be fun. And luckily, I didn't have to have the long drive home after the Dolphins game because we kicked their butt. But I'm confident, and they can still turn this thing around. I mentioned before this game, I said, we haven't looked great in the first 6 weeks. People always say we got to play your best ball at the end of the game, at the end of the season. We could turn it around week 7. Well, now we can turn it around week 8 and, not turn back. Because, 4-3 in a division like ours and a conference like ours, it doesn't seem like it's positive because of how we're playing. But who's to say that we can't all of a sudden flip that switch, start scoring over 30 points a game, and then all of a sudden beat these good teams that think that they can just walk over us again like Miami thought. And then now we're, like Mike said, 7-3 by the 10-game mark. And then now we're like, okay, 7-3. I think at that time we would have beat Cincinnati, right? It's after the Cincinnati game. Or
Yep. Yeah, I believe so.
So Tampa Bay Broncos and Tampa Bay Cincinnati, then Broncos.
Yep.
And then you're 7-3. And there you go. It's looking good at that point. But as of right now, we just got to hang in there as hard as it is, as stinky as it is. I mean, I made the joke to Jake. I don't know if I told Mike, but I said I signed up for the military. I chose infantry. I chose to sign up to go to war if I had to and to put my life on the line for this country. And I've never been more stressed than watching this team play football. And it shouldn't be like that. It's
crazy.
Crazy.
It shouldn't be
crazy.
that way. I was literally like, yeah, I'll go to war. Yeah, sure. I might not come back. And then all of a sudden I'm just like watching the football game. My hands going like this and my heart's going 100 miles an hour. My skin turns red. My ears are all red. My skin's boiling. I'm just like, this isn't right. Why? Why is this happening? But, I'm excited for this Wednesday, actually. Just got to make it through the next couple of days of, hearing about how bad the Bills stink and the Bills are overrated and all the other media outlets. It's going to be hard, but like Mike said, at least it's a quick turnaround.
Yeah, you can avoid all that. Just turn off your phone. Don't even watch anything. Just get to Wednesday. Get over there with Jake and his dad, and look at that man cave he's got going on. It's freaking incredible.
yeah.
Oh my
Listen,
gosh.
it's coming. It's coming together, baby.
It's next level. Real quick, let's see here. Also, Eagles ball, Tua just interception. Eagles are winning 24-17. They are still quite a lot of time left. 11 minutes according, because I'm not real time. I'm on the website here, but I'm currently seeing 11 minutes left in the game with the Eagles 3rd and 5.
3rd and 5. Eagles just threw a pass. It was short by about a half yard. They're probably going to run the tush push play to get the first down. We'll see what happens here.
Ooh, at their own 30. That's going to be gutsy.
Gutsy, but
Hey, that's one thing I did like today, by the way. Finally brought that back a little bit, seeing Josh run the football and
very
did like
successful.
that.
Very successful there.
they're actually punting.
Bummer. Yeah, well, they have to. I mean, they got a touchdown lead, I would think, and that was just too close to their own end. If I was another team, I would not trade a single peanut for Cam. Yeah, well, let me just say this. Cam's listening to you. He's actually texted me, Tracker Viewer, and he says, I love what Tracker Viewer is saying. It motivates me. I'm on this team. I'm making a lot of money. I'm having a good time, and I'm one of the best Bills special team players. and I can play anywhere. Put me in safety, corner. Heck, I'll play linebacker if I have to. So he's ready. So closing thoughts, guys. Let's get out of here. We can catch the rest of this game and be Eagles fans for the last, 10 minutes in this game. But Brett, I'm going to throw it to you. You're going to be able to speak first and what you got to say.
So I was wrong. They actually did have the special teams unit come out onto the field. Now they're going for it, and they just got the first down.
Ooh,
so
nice.
I was wrong on that.
Let's
they just
go.
got the first down. So they're moving down the field now. Still have the ball. Great decision by Nick Sirianni. Love it,
Gutsy.
man.
I love it.
Gutsy decision, but tush push always works. It's 99% of the time it works. So I'm happy with that. But
all right, Brett, we'll tell everyone where they can find you and give your closing thoughts, buddy. Appreciate you.
Well, I want to thank you guys for having me on. Apologize yesterday for not being able to be on the show and missing the Ruthless show. I know you guys held down the fort. It wasn't too ruthless, in my opinion. You got to step it up a little bit more. But I really do appreciate it. That's because
I was on the show. You know me. I have no ruthless in me.
You're too calm, Mike. You got to step it up a little. You got to have some fire and energy, man. Step it up. But no, I'm going to say this real quick, and I'll let everybody go. Let's just calm the brakes. We'll get through the next couple of weeks, and we'll be back to Buffalo Bills football on Thursday. And we're going to face the toughest opponents that we have to face. What better time of year to do that than at the end of the year where we can catch some fire, we can be ruthless and be ruthless in the playoffs, and it all adds up for the Buffalo Bills. So let's get rolling and let's get some wins against some tough teams. We can elevate our play instead of lowering our play, and I think we'll step up and play great. But you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. I have 6 different social media accounts, and we also have the website, gobillspodcast.com. You can click on that. Find all the upcoming shows that I have with Mike, Jake, Sean, and other guys. I apologize. I hit my microphone, almost knocked it off the screen. But no, I appreciate everybody for having me on, and go Bills.
That take deserves a little bit of a soundtrack here. Let's go. Bring this on.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Brett.
We got to bring this back, Mike. We haven't been doing this.
Oh, I know. But see when that finishes. Let's pour a drink here as well. This one's I'm gonna throw it to you, Jake, after this, because it's all about, you're the guy who pours the drinks here.
Oh, hell yeah.
So.
Yeah, I am the drink pourer, and I don't pour anything shorter than a 5-finger pour. So anyways, guys, listen, I feel like I need one after that game. It was tough. A lot of heart palpitations. That's been the motto the last 3 weeks here. It's been very stressful watching the Bills play, but I got to say, Mr. Sean Kula is undefeated in person. So I have never been happier to go to a game with a guy who hopefully will lift the curse from this team and maybe get us kickstarted in the right direction and really send us off for the rest of the year. And maybe this is the start of the winning streak coming up. So we're getting back to football on Thursday night. Can't wait. It's going to be a blast. We'll be checking in with you guys, and might be from a wing spot. So we'll see. Time will tell, but can't wait to do that show with you, Sean. It's going to be an absolute time of our lives, and I think the Bills are going to make right on all their wrongs. So
love that, Jake.
Still optimistic. Still optimistic.
Actually, absolutely, Jake. Absolutely. Before I throw it to you, Sean, we did hire a guy to say this because I got tired of saying it, and people say I don't say it right. So let's hear this real quick.
For more awesome content, like and subscribe now.
There you go. Big Al, appreciate it. Hope you like the haircut. You got to keep it, as you get older, you got to keep it thin, man. Keep it low cut.
Good, Mike.
So thanks, Big Al. Appreciate it. Sean, for you, closing thoughts, buddy.
Well, this isn't how we expect. Well, maybe this is how some people expected the season to start, but it's been frustrating. It's been tough. It's supposed to be enjoyable, but they haven't put enjoyable product on the field. And I hope to God, for everybody's sake, that we can turn it around on Thursday. Definitely looking forward to being out there and to doing, at least part, I'll be either at Jake's house doing a live show with you guys in Liquid City Mafia, or we'll be at a wing place. Regardless, we're going to have fun, Jake and I, looking forward to it. Been looking forward to it since I figured out I could go. and then the Jake gets to go with me is going to be more fun. I would like if people in the chat could maybe give us sign ideas that maybe a player would notice and
there we go.
Would react to it or whatever. So either at the end of the game or whatever, they could maybe say what's up or take a selfie. I don't know. This is something cool because we're close enough where we could probably see. I don't know. I don't think we're right exactly next to the tunnel. We're in the same row as a tunnel, but you know what I'm saying, right? So there's like a bunch of seats. I don't think we're this first seat on the tunnel, but we're in that first couple rows somewhere, and it's a great seat. So hopefully we're close enough where they can jump in the stands for a touchdown, and then we can say what's up and then give them an $18 beer to destroy, and then
Love
that
that.
would be amazing.
that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, if Miami loses tonight, there's still a good chance for the division. But we do need to get things into high gear because this defense won't be able to stop Miami. We're gonna have to score 50 points to beat them. But 1 week at a time, one Super Bowl at a time. We lost another Super Bowl. What else is new? We got Week 8 Super Bowl on Thursday. Bills Bucks. Let's do it.
Yeah, and we might see. I mean, you might see some costumes, right? I mean, we're not going to have a game before Halloween, so might be some folks decked out this Thursday. Maybe you guys should get in the costume, matching costumes. Go figure it out.
We're gonna go full uniform, dressed up like Bills players.
Oh, I like it. I like it a lot.
Maybe I'll go as Josh Allen.
Well, listen, everyone. I want to say thank you so much for joining us. We're right at the 2-hour mark. We knew this was going to be a long one. Again, we love the Buffalo Bills. We will never give up on this team. I've seen us overcome a lot of things in years. Yes, they will break our hearts. As a Bills fan, that's just a given. But this team is good enough to turn it around. We're 4-3. I said we'd be 7-3 at the 10-game mark. I'm still sticking to that. I know right now it's like I have no more games to give away. But let's go. Let's turn it around this Thursday. Thank you again. We will see you soon. See us Wednesday night. See these guys. It's gonna be fun. They're gonna be together. We're gonna go live. So we'll see you soon. Let's go watch the rest of that Eagle game. Let's pull for those Eagles. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
See you soon.
Go Bills, baby.